This is episode number 221 of the InnerFight podcast. Welcome to another edition of the InnerFight podcast. My name is Marcus Smith, founder of InnerFight.com. I'm joined by Matt Jones. In this edition of the podcast, this is Matt Jones. We're going to speak about his life, where he comes from, what he used to do as a kid, and how he has come to where he is today. Of course, a massive thank you to our show sponsors, Kareem, who, with the promo code InnerFight, will give you 100 dirhams, free credit on your ride. Or if you're coming to the gym, use promo code INNER. And if you're leaving, use promo code FIGHT, and you will get 10% off your rides with Kareem. Thanks to the guys over there for that. Matt is ready. Let's jump right in. Here we go. A new segment of the podcast, the This Is segment, and a very special first one. This is Matt Jones.
This is it.
This is Matt Jones. This is where we're going to dig into the life of the individual, and who better to start with than Matt Jones.
So I'm the first one on this.
You're the first one, mate.
Jeez.
And you know what? We could almost nominate. We could do the next one by a process of nomination.
Okay.
So we'll go through this. We'll see how you enjoy it, and then you'll think and at the end, you'll nominate the next person to do it. Objective is to just get to know people a little bit better and get to know where people are from, what they do, and why they do it.
Cool.
Where are you from?
NZ. New
Zealand.
Yep.
The land of the long white cloud.
Yes.
Whereabouts?
Auckland. Yeah.
Capital?
So,
no.
Wellington.
Everyone thinks that everyone thinks that
they
it's
do,
the capital,
they
don't
think
they?
Auckland's the main thing, yeah.
Is it? But it's the main city, right?
It is, yeah. Like, you go to Wellington, it's windy.
Nothing is going on.
A lot of hills,
right?
Which is quite good for
a lot of hills. So,
mate,
you were born there?
Yeah, I was born there, mate. Yeah.
In Auckland?
Yeah. I was there for 25, maybe 26 years of my life.
Really?
Yeah.
First 26 years you spent in Auckland?
Pretty much.
This is what we want to know, mate. Tell us a little about growing up. Obviously, few people know your brother Nick. Tell us a little about what life was like as a kid.
Yeah, I guess we always had it was just me and my brother growing up together, so we used to be quite competitive with each other.
Yeah.
He's 2 years older than me. He pretty much used to beat me at every single thing, including hallway rugby league.
Hallway rugby league.
So the only option was to run straight. So I just said,
he'd be quite good at going straight, though, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he was pretty good at that. And then there were we used to have pictures and mirrors on the side as well. So
right.
My mum was always like, please do not smash anything. And we didn't for a long time, but then one day, I think someone's knee got caught in the mirror, and we just smashed a mirror. You know?
Smashed full-length mirror?
Full-length mirror.
They give you all that shit, 7 years bad luck.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then, but then one day I beat him at tennis, and then from then on in, it's kind of been it's going my way a little bit more. But
Nick's 2 years older than you?
Yeah, 2 years older than me.
Right.
And he always will, although he's a lot shorter than me. He's
I mean, you guys are real different, mate.
Yeah, we are.
In physical.
Everything.
Well,
yeah. He's I mean, but he's always going to be the big brother to me.
Right.
He always showed me the ropes and how it got done. So anyway, we lived in Westmere,
right,
which is the central part of Auckland. Lived there for the first maybe 5 years of my life.
Right.
And then we moved to Point Chevalier. A lot of people probably don't even know what these places are, but you never know. You never know. Anyway, that was the next suburb over. We're there for 10 years, and that house was pretty cool because we had a massive backyard.
Right.
Yeah, and whenever people came around to our house, my brother always used to get the timer out, and we used to do time trials on people.
Really?
But I had a mate that would come over, could have been slightly overweight, whatever, and he just got his stopwatch there waiting.
So Nick's initiation, for anyone who wanted to come and play,
it turned into,
stopwatch.
Forget Sega Master System, forget PlayStations, It was just, we're doing time
trials. How old were you when this started happening?
Between the ages of 6 and we left there when I was about 12 years old. So we were there for 6 years.
Right. So
we used to get we were quite into WWF wrestling.
Right. I used to watch it a little bit.
The days like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, they were the good days.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Anyway,
I actually watched a really interesting documentary on Hulk Hogan.
Recently.
Yeah, and how his life just got crazy and messed up and interesting. But they were the real heroes of WWF. That was the start, and that's when it was allowed to be called WWF.
Yeah,
right?
And then it got banned. So I was pretty gutted about that. But we used to have about 3 buckets full of the actual wrestling figurines.
Right.
That's what we do. We get our mates over.
Yeah.
We had a massive trampoline.
Right.
You get the sprinkler out. You get the water on there, and then you jump just whichever was the last one there, that's who won the Royal Rumble.
Right.
So we did that. That was part of some competition, I guess. And,
so that was life growing up.
It was, mate, yeah.
You just active the whole time, outside.
Yeah, always outside. It was like, we had a Sega Master System. I mentioned that before.
Yeah.
And we had a good tennis game, and that's how I actually got into tennis, because I got good on that game. I was like, I might just start actually doing this, you know?
So how old were you when you when you picked up a tennis racket and wanted to...
I was exactly 6 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
And you were tall for a 6-year-old?
Yeah, I've always been tall.
Right.
Yeah. Massive, long femurs my whole life. And
extremely high cheekbones.
High cheekbones, always hanging around. And, just went to the local tennis club, the Point Chevalier Tennis Club.
Which
I think it was no one knows. I think there was only like 4 courts in.
Right.
Asphalt, like concrete. And, just went and hit a ball and actually thought, and I can get good at this. I wasn't good straight away.
Yeah. I
was like probably hitting it over the back fence and stuff. But
Too much power.
Too much power, I guess. And just got into it that way. So.
And started playing tennis.
Yep.
So that was the first real sport, except Nick's timed laps around the garden.
Yeah, timed laps around the garden.
That was the first sport you got into.
Yeah, it was, mate. And, like we play, our parents made it sure we got into like football, like soccer, football, and athletics as well, like just doing all types of stuff when we were growing up. So.
Is it? I know in Australia it's known to be, or it's thought to be, a very outdoor life. Is it the same as that in New Zealand?
Yeah, it is, mate.
So
it's very,
any sport.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have pretty brutal winters, though, don't you? I mean, it does get cold.
Yeah.
But sport was still something that was absolutely massive.
Yeah, definitely.
For everyone from the start.
Yeah. All the schools that we went to, it was always like I had a principal one time, and his mentality was like, okay, you're going to do 5 minutes of work.
Yeah.
And like 30 minutes of physical activity. So we were like, yeah, sweet, let's do it.
I'm in that school.
I think he got fired like 2 years later, but things change, I guess.
For not delivering the results. So tennis was first. What other sports did you get into as a kid?
Yeah, and then
football, soccer,
and then we got into rugby.
Yeah.
And so there was me and my brother, and then there were these 2 other guys. One was called Jamie Nelson, and one was called Daniel Nelson.
Right, brothers.
Doesn't really matter. Yeah, brothers.
Right.
So I was good friends with this guy called Jamie Nelson.
Right.
Anyway, they were both very good at football. And so we all just said, and even his mum and dad said, how about we get the guys into rugby? And we're like, yeah. I was like, yeah, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah.
They were a bit like, I was like, hey, give it 1 year, give it a go,
right.
and then you can decide what you want to do after that.
Yeah.
And me and my brother were the only, we carried on playing rugby.
Right.
I think it was just our first game. We're just like, what have we been doing?
Really? Like just wasting time playing
football?
Yeah, we're
like, screw this soccer stuff. No, not so much. Like that. But I just remember I played for Ponsonby Ponies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the first game I played, I ended up scoring like 2 tries.
Only.
I was like a second rower, like on the wing.
Tall, get in the second row.
Yeah, and I remember we kicked this team's ass, and it was just like, well, Mum said, "Oh, do you still want to play this?" I was just like, "Yeah, I do."
Yeah, you want to play it.
We just carried on.
As a Kiwi, mate, as a New Zealander, obviously there's a lot. Rugby is really in your heritage, or it's kind of put that way to the population. What is it really like growing up as a New Zealander? I mean, it's the only sport you guys are good at, so you all follow.
Pretty much.
but what's that really like, mate? Because the All Blacks is it's got so much history behind it and all this. Yeah. So what's it like to be a New Zealander?
Mate,
on that level?
Cool. It is pretty cool in that sense. Yeah. Like you could be overseas and you're like, people go, where are you from? You're like, oh, New Zealand, I'm a Kiwi. They're like, oh,
All Blacks.
All Blacks. They might say, I mean, Jonah Loma was obviously a name that would come out.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool the way it's that recognised, and it's such a small country as well.
Yeah. So is there from a young age, like, you're going to play rugby?
A little bit.
Is it sort of like that?
A little bit. I think it's good, like, a lot of some of the successful ones have, like, been encouraged to play soccer first.
Really?
A little bit. Like, I know I can't really name any players, but anyway, it just gets your skills up, and then, because some of the ones that go into rugby a little bit too early, then, I mean, it does get pretty dangerous these days, right?
Absolutely,
so, I guess it's for that reason as well. But, no, I think it's pretty cool how it's recognised, like, it's not like you're forced to play rugby, and I think because a lot of accidents or, concussions can happen now, and it's...
Yeah.
So maybe, but you go to a school and they're guaranteed, like, you're kind of pushed to play rugby.
Play.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys started playing, you scored 2 tries in your first game.
2 tries in my first game.
Mum wants to know if you keep playing. You say yes.
Childish question.
What happens from there?
We just, kept playing.
Yeah.
But then I was still playing tennis in the summer.
Right.
So it got to a stage where it was just like, you're going to have to kind of choose one.
Right.
And so I decided to choose tennis.
Right.
And played that up until the age of about 16, 17.
Right.
Kind of lost a bit of interest there, and then I started playing rugby again.
Really?
So, yeah. So I had a bit of a break, mate.
Yeah. One of the a story that I remember from your brother when we were actually running up and down Jebel Hafeet once. That was actually the longest time we were together from. I think we were together from about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So just me and him.
Yeah, and, I remember that. I'd probably been here a few months.
Yeah, you've not been here long. But I remember a distinct story that he told me about when you guys used to play in the same team.
Yeah, we did for
that you were 2 years apart.
Right.
He told me quite. What was that like, mate? To be able to play. You obviously bash each other up in that corridor, throw each other into mirrors, but then to be able to play a team sport like rugby together with your brother, that must have been very cool.
That was pretty cool. Like it definitely lifted me a little bit more. And because he was playing with some, like I remember he'd tackle some of the guys, and some of these guys he probably used to go to school with, but he'd just like get his hand, shove him in the face, and just go back to schoolboy rugby.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, hey mate, like come on. And but he captained quite a few sides as well. He just always had that kind of drive that, he wanted people to succeed. Right. So little halfback going in there.
Was he a halfback?
He played a lot of positions, mate. He was like, he went from like first five to second five to fullback to wing and then halfback.
I'd have definitely picked him just straight as a hooker.
Yeah, I know. Everyone thinks he's like, so he played in the front row, bro. He's just like, no.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? So it was. I mean, that must have been a good time, mate. As you were growing up together, you were in school together, playing rugby together. That must have been a very, a real good environment to grow up in.
Definitely, mate. And then the year later, he played in the under-21s, and I was still in the under-19s.
Right.
And then the year after that, I played under-21s, and we were undefeated for 3 years.
Wow.
And then we won it again, undefeated. So we had a little bit to,
So it was a good job you chucked the tennis racket.
Yeah, it was,
Talk to us a little bit about your school life, mate, and what you enjoyed in school, like biology or, what was interesting for you? Obviously, you loved sport, and that was a big part.
Yeah, that was a pretty big part. I enjoyed throwing fruit at people, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. A lot of us got into that.
Really?
But,
fruit
no, it wasn't like that. Like in the, like you're trying to study and you're like, I'm just trying to think, who am I going to throw this apple at? No, it wasn't so much that. But no, school was pretty cool. When I went to high school, going from the primary school, it was only me that was going from that primary school.
Right.
So it was always going to be a little bit like, should I follow what everyone else is doing and go to the school that they're going to? But you know what? I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to go to the school, make some new friends. I was quite nervous about it.
Yeah, for sure.
When I didn't know anyone at all.
Right.
And but I was able to make friends, and I think it helped having my brother there as well. Like he was a couple of years ahead of me.
Just
I think his advice was just don't look at people for more than 5 seconds, and just don't get smart to anyone. And I went, fair enough. Okay, sweet. Because otherwise I'll probably get a hiding and he wasn't going to be there.
Did he often, I guess, as a bigger brother to a younger brother, he would have often given you bits of advice?
Yeah, definitely.
As much as he could.
He could, mate. I remember, I think it was the first high school, I think in primary school we used to call it discos.
Right.
But then it was, you weren't allowed to call it discos when you went there, so it was called socials.
Social, right.
Because I was at an all-boys school, it was like time to go and try and mingle with girls' schools. Yeah. Anyway, the advice he gave me was just like, if you're going to talk to a girl, just... ask them about, maybe what sports they're into and stuff like that. And then another bit of advice, he's like, if a girl looks at you and looks away, that means that they like you.
Right.
And I was like, okay, is there any more advice you're going to give me? And then he was just like, nah, that's it. So I went there with like my Rip Curl t-shirt, my 501 Levi's, I guess, and maybe Chuck Taylors, I don't know. And
did you speak to girls about sport?
I did my best.
How did that
questions. Go? Yeah, it was quite good. Sometimes you had to yell because the music was so loud and be like, what sport do you play? But yeah, no, it was cool. So.
What does he still give you bits of advice? Like,
I always turn to him. Like, say if I'm gonna, like, not that I've needed to since I've been here, but maybe a slight little career change and stuff like that. I always email him first, and
ask
I
him
always,
what he thinks.
I do, because he was. I mean, like, Yeah, he was someone to look up to in the sense that, he was head boy at the college.
He's a real goody two-shoes.
He was. Up until the age of 14, that's when he changed.
Right.
Yeah. He used to be a bit of a, idiot, I guess.
Mate, speaking of role models, you obviously, you've probably got some more. Who else do you really look up to, or did you look up to during your sort of childhood? You mentioned there, obviously, Jonah Lomu and the All Blacks. But, was it your dad, or was it who was an inspiration for you as you were growing up in New Zealand?
Mate, well, he's not really a New Zealander, but I've always just looked up to Michael Jordan.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know it's like you hear it so many times these days. Like it's okay if you do fail sometimes, and just the amount of 3-pointers he failed. Blah, 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 and the way he's picked up some other sports. Now, looking at it, and he's a Kiwi, I do like Sonny Bill Williams. I know he's had a bit of a past.
Yeah.
So is everyone, though? Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah. And I think from what I can see, he seems like he's cleaned up his act quite well, and he's successful in what he does. You know? So, yeah.
What about your parents, mate? What sort of role did they play? Obviously, they support you endlessly and X, Y, and Z, but how did they play a role in your childhood and in your school?
Yeah, I guess my mum and dad are quite different in the sense that, my dad was always, try and use a better word, but he was quite pushy when it came to some of the sports I was playing.
Right.
And if I wasn't doing a good job, he did tell me.
Yeah.
Whereas my mum was maybe a little bit more like, no, you're doing okay, it's all right.
Yeah.
Just keep doing what you're doing, when
she
probably could have told me maybe. So I think it was probably good to get a little bit of both.
Bit of good cop and bad cop.
It was, mate, yeah. So...
What do you see these days, mate? You obviously deal a little bit with kids in your work, and you see a lot of kids going around. What do you see, like, compared to how you were brought up with, your dad being tough, your mum being a little bit softer? What do you see is happening to kids these days?
Mate, I think maybe some of them have it a little bit easy.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the full details of how the educational system works, but I know from what I hear, it's like, it's a lot easier now than it was.
Right.
But then I guess it's just all the social media and the technology that comes in, and just the privileges that they get.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, I've got a phone when I'm 3 years old.
Yeah.
Sega Master systems don't even exist.
Yeah.
It's like,
nor does the Commodore 64.
Yeah, and they're not I can see in some schools around here, they're encouraged to play more sport, but in some ways, no.
Do you think that? I mean, you've touched on something that's really quite key there. Do you think the whole advent of technology is it obviously has a massive positive effect on the kids?
Definitely.
It really does, but do you think it also has a huge negative effect?
It can do. It can do. With Joseph was talking about the little addictions that some people have.
Yeah.
For instance, they could be anywhere, or you stop that set of lights and you check to see
see what's going on.
But in saying that, it is, if you look at the way technology was 10, 20 years ago, I mean, it is the future, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's still good to have a lot of knowledge there, and if you've got some interest in computers and stuff, then go for it.
But I mean, mate, you shared a really good story with us. What Nick used to do when kids come round, he's got the stopwatch ready.
Yeah.
And okay, that's 25 years ago now.
Yeah.
But what is that? Is that breeding sporty kids? Is it? And because now kids come around and they're ready to play the latest game or play with the latest app. So would you, if you could, would you restrict kids, and would you, that element of your life that you basically put you in good stead for sport, would you re-inject that into them?
Yeah, I would, mate. I was actually talking to Omar.
Yeah.
I think we call him Omelette. The tall guy.
Yeah, the tall one.
And he was saying with his kids, he says, during the week, I don't think they're really watching much TV or any TV at all.
Right.
And in the weekends, I think on both days, they get an hour per day.
Right.
Where they can watch a film or play games for an hour,
Yeah.
And I think that's
Limited.
a really good rule.
Yeah.
It's good. And they've come in, mate. They seem quite well behaved, and
I guess that was probably the way that you grew up as well. You're allowed out to play for an hour, and then you have to come in maybe for half an hour and do your homework and this kind of stuff. So we're still rationing kids in a certain way.
Definitely.
Going back to school and speaking of homework, what was your favourite subject at school?
I think my favourite subject, I was going to say social studies, but sort of mentioned that last week. No, look, I really liked English. I quite enjoyed it when we were studying Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why. I didn't think I would like that, but when I had to get up and do a presentation on Macbeth, I don't know if anyone knows that one,
Macbeth,
the daggers.
You were happy with that?
Yeah, I got really good marks, and everyone was like,
This guy,
I didn't think I knew I was doing it. I even asked the teacher at the end. I go, mate, have you got a question? Because all the other questions were just stupid, And he goes, nah, I'm okay, mate.
You're okay, you've told me.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, mate, which subject you just hated,
didn't like?
Just didn't want to be?
I think I tried to do. I think I tried to do art one time, and I'm just not an arty person, mate.
Right.
I just can't do it. Like I think I used to get some of my mates who ended up doing, like getting into graffiti and getting themselves into trouble. But anyway, I was just like, mate, can you do my title page? And then they'd just draw for me, and I'll be like, I really want to know how to do that. But I think you've either kind of got it or you don't.
Yeah, with art, I think that's
so
right.
art wasn't good. And plus, our teacher was called, his name was Mr. Tanner, and he used to like smack boys for no reason.
Really? A bit violent?
Yeah, he got a bit violent. I think he got fired in the end.
I mean, when you were in school, and obviously when I was in school, it was still okay to get beaten.
Yeah.
Did you get smashed a few times?
No, I never did, mate.
Really?
No, I think it sort of simmered down by the time I got there. Like maybe once or twice, but nothing too major.
Serious,
yeah.
But the art teacher was just a bit heavy-handed.
Yeah, he was quite bad, mate. Yeah,
hilarious.
Really
So after school, mate, university. Talk us through a little bit of university life.
So
what was it like? What did you study?
It was good. I didn't go there straight away because I was just didn't know what I really wanted to do. I was thinking, okay, I could be a plumber and then a builder, and then I just went, why do I want to be a plumber or a builder? Like,
really?
No disrespect to them, it's fine, but I was just like, this isn't me. And then so I worked at a 5-star hotel for a good side of a year, and thinking maybe I'll get into the hospital industry. And I think just because I wanted to do a bit of travelling, and I knew that it's an easy job to sort of get around in. But then I just didn't like the hours. It was getting in the way of my sport.
Yeah.
And then I just figured I was always going to the gym, just working out. So I was just like, looking around at some of the other trainers, thinking, what do they actually do? And then just talking to them, and decided to do a short course at AUT, Auckland University of Technology. And that was for like about 6 months, and then decided to do a diploma after that, and that was for like a year. Right. And then I started doing the degree, and I did the first year and just sort of thought, look, I'm at a gym now that require, it's almost like going to another university at the same time. So there's a lot of in-house training, which was really effective, and it's kind of just helped me where I am today,
Right. So by this stage you're like 22. You've done a few. 22,
mate. I probably started working at a gym part-time when I was about 20 years old.
In Auckland?
In Auckland, Les Mills.
Les Mills. That's where Les Mills is based in New Zealand, right?
It is, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
He was the mayor of Auckland.
Was he?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He actually used to live behind my best friend, and I think we used to throw apples on his roof, to be honest. Yeah, we did.
I remember running along from the viaduct and all along there in Auckland, and seeing this massive Les Mills building.
Yeah,
and then
that was their first one.
Running fast as hell away.
Yeah. It's not really.
So but that's where you sort of started out.
I did, mate. I was just a gym instructor. Used to walk around, talk to people, try and correct people, thinking I knew what I was doing.
What part of that? Of that part of the start, like you just walk, like you just said, you used to walk around, chat to people. What part of that was interesting for you?
I found it was more interesting when, like, I saw how some of the others do it, and they'd always just do the same thing. They'd walk up and go, "Oh, how's your workout going?" Or like, "What muscle are you working today?" I'd sort of go up and just be a little bit more random, just be like, "Next." No, it wasn't so much that, but I'd just ask them something different and just kind of get their attention that way, and then I could just see, like, when you help someone, like, even if you just tweak a few things on their technique, and you see how happy they are, and so that just satisfied me the most, knowing that I can help people live a healthy life by just,
And did that come, like, that realization and that satisfaction of, like, or realizing that you had a certain ability to help people? Did that happen fast, mate? Was it like...
No, it didn't, mate. It didn't. It probably took me at least 8 months.
Right.
Like, I was working in the gym, and I always, like, I was quite inquisitive. I'd always just ask the trainers how they're going, and you'd talk to the successful ones, and then you'd talk to the ones that weren't so successful, and so you'd get a little bit of a negative vibe there, and you're like, oh, is this for me, And then, but no, it didn't happen straight away, mate. It took about even close to a year that, okay, I do want to be in this industry. Yeah. I did leave Les Mills, and that's when I started working at another gym, which had all the in-house training, which made me realize, oh, no, this is going to work.
Just quickly talk about those sort of negative people. Like in a lot of, I think generally in a lot of environments there are negative people.
Yeah.
how did you deal with them? Because like you say, like half of the people are saying, yeah, this is a terrible industry.
Yeah.
Half of them are saying like, and as a youngster, or you're just trying to find out what you want to do. Like, how does that affect your mindset and your thought process?
Well, yeah, it really affected it at first, because then I was thinking, oh man, what am I going to do? With my life. I was just thinking, look, I love the physical side of things. I love the fitness industry. I want to be a trainer. I want to help people, but I guess I just got to the point where I was just like, okay, look, they're probably not going to be here for like another month.
Right.
So they're probably going to be leaving anyway. So I'd always just listen to what they're saying, but I'd just never care that much.
And on the flip side as well, mate, the guys that were super positive, enjoying, and obviously quite successful, how did you use them to sort of get some momentum and passion behind it?
I just started training with them.
Right.
Some of them I just booked in a couple of sessions with them, and some of them just said, oh, why don't you just train with me? I train at this time.
Yeah.
And in some sense, I thought that was a little bit of a test.
Right.
Because sometimes they could tell this young guy, like, oh, yeah, come and train with me. And then you're like, what if you just don't show up? Like, if I was like, if it was vice versa, then I'd just think, okay, this guy's not that interested.
Yeah.
But I always showed up, and they all had different styles of training.
Right.
So that was another way to really, just to learn from these guys, the more experienced guys. And then, the other guys, like, and girls who weren't really that successful, like some of them were like it was just like a hobby to them. They weren't that passionate about it. Some of them, a couple of guys are in really good shape, and they were good to train with, but they just only really cared about themselves. They didn't really care about, their clients, I guess. So
then you hopped out from Les Mills into a more, as people might know now, like a Globo gym, a fitness first style of gym. Talk us through that stage of your development, mate, because that's where you learnt a lot, obviously.
I did, mate. I did. When I first started there, I knew that the pay wasn't going to be that good.
Yeah.
But then I was like, look, I'm still at uni. I'm going to be doing this part-time.
Right.
I was kind of living at home, but living in other places here and there. But, it was about 6 months until you get your first sort of pay rise, which I'm not saying money's everything, mate, but it does help a little bit. I just started to realize that, I don't really need to be at university if this is really what I want to, do.
Right.
And there were like, we could like start working as a supervisor. There was just more opportunities at this gym.
Right.
Whereas the other gym was just like, I almost looked at it as like, maybe you're set up to fail.
Right.
Like I know they just like 6 months, they push you to do their boot camp, which costs like a lot of money. And then it's just like you're left on your own. Like you get told, oh yeah, you can do your own hours and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, if you've got clients.
So,
so that was basically it.
And then how long were you at that gym for?
Mate, I was there for like nearly 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I was always like, I'll be here 2 years, and then just sort of kept going. And like, I guess I stayed there for a reason.
Yeah.
It started to get a little bit stale because, me and 3 of the other trainers, we started getting into the CrossFit method of training.
Right.
The gym didn't like that too much.
When was that, mate? When did you first
So I would have been there 22, probably when I was about 20, nearly 28.
Right.
So
in sort of 2008, 2009, would that be?
It would have been about 2009.
Yeah.
That's when I did the,
heard about CrossFit.
I did, mate. One of the older guys I was been training with, he just, he just took me through a workout one time, and I knew it wasn't his style of training in a way. Like, he's just, I go, where'd you get this from? And then he told me, and then started doing a bit of research. Yeah. And I just couldn't help but take my clients through some of the stuff. Because, it gets results. It keeps it interesting for them. And so, but the gym, it went against their philosophies a little bit, and they just, they didn't like it. So they kept telling us to stop. Yeah, and we all left at like the same time. And apparently since then, the gym hasn't been as good. So,
So where did you go to? You found CrossFit 2008, place you've been working out for 5 years. They don't like it. You're out.
I ended up moving over to Cairns, North Australia.
Wow.
So I was thinking, I didn't really want to do it, but hey, it got me out of that.
First time out of New Zealand.
It was, mate.
To live abroad. And
then I figured, well, look, I could like just stay here and just plod along and just, just be in the same place 5 years later. So I was just like, look, I'll go there, see how it goes. And I remember, when I got off the plane at Cairns, I was just like, look, I don't want to be here longer than 2 years.
Right.
And as it happens, I was there for 2 years and 3 months.
Wow.
And left.
You went straight to a gym there?
Yeah, I'd done a few emails before I left,
right.
So I made a few connections there. I knew a couple of mates who were chiropractors and physios, so they Yeah, so I was working in again in a Globo gym. I was just like, okay, I'll be here 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I ended up being there, for 2 years.
Yeah.
But in that, a year after being there, I met a guy, Trevor. He's actually working in Abu Dhabi now.
Yeah.
And he had a CrossFit. It was called CrossFit Dungeon. So I just started training there, and within a month I started working there. So,
really?
So I was doing a bit of both.
Yeah.
Which was cool, but, some weeks it'd just be pretty hectic. And
it's still quite early on in the sort of, I guess, what should really only be called the CrossFit evolution, mate, or the introduction and the evolution of the fitness industry, because we're in about 2009, 2010 now.
Yep.
What was it like back then working in a CrossFit gym? Like for Trevor, it's obviously quite a ballsy move to set this up.
Yep.
Talk us through sort of the early days of teaching people CrossFit and what it was like.
Yeah, I mean, back then it was just like, I guess it was just quite new.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, if you're in America, it's not. But, Australia and New Zealand, we're a little bit behind there. And, it was just, for some people, it was just like, they'd never worked out like that before.
Right.
The changes in their body just didn't occur because they'd been just doing the same stuff at a normal gym for that long.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, you go back now, and it's like, you can just go around and you can have a conversation about this method of training now,
How did you explain to people before, though? Okay, the people that came to your gym, they knew that they were coming, but you're in a bar in Cairns or just hanging out at the beach, and someone goes, "Oh, Matt, you're in pretty good shape. What do you do?" "I do CrossFit." They're like, "You do what fit?" How did you explain to them what it was you were doing, what it was you were teaching?
Yeah, I sometimes just said, look, you just got to do your own research. Sometimes I got to the point where I just started saying that. I was just like, because I'd try and explain, and then they'd be like, "Oh, okay," so and
it's a circuit training.
Mate. Yeah. So I just said, do a bit of research, and then come back and have a chat. And sometimes it was quite cool because those ones would end up coming, because I go, look, I do work at this gym now, this CrossFit, and then you'd see them like a week later.
Just come in.
Yeah, and sometimes you just got to try it to actually understand it a little bit more.
What's going on.
Yeah, so that usually worked.
You'd done 2 years there in Cairns, and you'd budgeted 2 years. You're there 2 years, 3 months. Yeah. What happens next in your life?
Yeah, well, just my brother had been here for about 4 years.
Right.
Him and his wife, Katrine, and they ended up training here as well.
Yeah, they did.
And I think he was training here for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And I always remember him saying that, I trained with this guy who came 7th in the region, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then he just said, look, email him. So I emailed you.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, you got back to me straight away, which was really good.
Thank you.
And, just said, look, when you're over here, look, your CV looks good.
Yeah.
Come and see us. And within, I booked the ticket, and then 2 months later,
you're here.
I was here, and then a day later.
Why Dubai, though, mate? Why did you choose to, you're in Cairns, you're close to home, you can go anywhere in the world. You knew you only wanted to be there for 2 years, but why? I mean, why?
It's funny, that one, because I remember working in that the Body Tech, the gym after Les Mills.
Right.
And one guy just came out to me and goes, "Mate, have you heard of this place called Dubai?" And this guy would have been in his mid-40s or something, and he was he used to train with shirts tucked in. He was an old school sort of trainer.
Shorts
Brooksy, and socks to his wherever. But I always help the guy out, and he just goes, "Mate, you should get to Dubai." And I was like, "Oh, why?" And he goes,
Really?
Personal trainers, you're a good trainer here. You'd love it there.
Yeah.
And then he was just asking about my qualifications. But it's funny, I remember him saying that, and I was just like, and then close to 5 years later, I'm in Dubai. I'm pity I don't have that guy's. I'd like to just say, "Hey, mate, I'm here, bro."
Come work out.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the main kind of. I guess here it seems like there's a lot more opportunities going here.
What did you think, mate? Speaking of that, when you got here, okay, it was cool. We'd been in touch. You had Nick, but you got here. It's the middle of nowhere. It's very different to Australia and New Zealand. Yeah. I guess the personal training and the training landscape is a bit different as well. Yeah. What was your first sort of reaction?
I didn't really know what to expect. It was a bit of a cultural shock when I came in. I was just like, am I going to be training lots of local people here, which is fine, And then, but no, I guess, I went to the gym. I came to InnerFight a day later and jumped into a class, and I look around, and there's the likes of Bud, and there's Brooksy, and I think Nilo was in there, and it was just like, oh no, these guys are fine, And then everyone's kind of moving pretty well, and then but I think my brother just said to me, look, it's a good gym, he kept saying, oh, you're going to have a look around in other places, but I'm so glad that he introduced me to yourself and just the InnerFight team really, and just it was just I didn't need to look anywhere else, and I'm so thankful I don't have to do that.
At the start though, mate, it was tough. I remember we sat down like on numerous occasions and I know there's different things, but starting out in a new country, building a client base, it was.
Because I've done that a few times
6 or 7
already.
months for you, it was hard. Was it harder here than it was in sort of when you'd done that in Australia or in New Zealand before?
I'd say it was, mate, because I didn't have the luxury of what I had before. It's like you go around as a fitness instructor, but that's a really good way to sell yourself a little bit. You go around, get to know people. Do them like a program or two, and then eventually they'll ask, or you just ask them, look, why don't you do some training? So here you don't really have that luxury. I did start off not doing classes, and which is another great way to sell yourself. And so I was doing more one-on-ones and just building that way. But I did start with some of the local boys. And then he'd bring a friend in, and then it just sort of
What do you think the key to sort of, I know we do get a lot of people, personal trainers listening to the podcast and stuff, or people that want to develop their business, and what do you think the key to that is? You just nailed something there, like friend would bring someone else in. How do you get that to happen?
I mean, it's funny how like the best, you're doing a good job if a lot of your clientele is coming back from referrals. Like working in other gyms where some of the trainers would really rely on the gym getting them clients. Right. And you sort of saw it and I was like, okay, so you're sort of taking the easy sort of way. What happens when you've got to be a contractor and do your own tax and do this and that. Then you're going to be a bit screwed. So I think that just taught me, and it's just going up and just being a bit open-minded about, how you talk to people. And But again, it just comes back to just being passionate about what you do, Did you find it difficult with it? Like you obviously at the start and still now you train a lot of Emiratis. Did you find it difficult with the language barrier and culturally like fitting into the place? Not really, actually. Easy. I just went up and just went zing zang, and then everyone was like pretty cool with that. No. They just like No, I think I found them very humorous. And just they obviously found you quite humorous. As well. They sort of got my humor straight away. Mate, we have to speak about that. We have to speak about these words that you use. First of all, what is the origin of one of your favourite words, next? Next. Look, because I know there'll be a lot of people that know you that are listening that want to know. Like, what is this? Why do you use it? Okay. So it all started when I went to St. Peter's College. Right. Yeah, and that was like the high school. Right. I didn't know anyone. Yeah. And it was like we had like 50% were probably Polynesian boys. Right. And then, the rest. And to be honest, it came from this guy. His name was Philip Palloy. Right. Yeah. And I ended up playing rugby with him, and we sat next to each other, and he was really good at the way. So he started saying like next to people. Like, someone would sit down, stand up, and just like maybe ask a question and be like, next, sit down, bro. And I used to watch the way he did it, and then they all just started doing it. So really? I like to say I came up with it, but to be honest, but it was from someone else. This guy. And you just found it a useful way to keep very people useful. Quiet. It's just an expression now. Like you can just. Some people go, "Oh, what does it mean?" It's just like there's no need for these questions. So, do a lot of people ask you why you use it? Not so much anymore, but no, not really. I think I've sort of put it out there. You don't ask about these things, you just sort of, and then it's funny, they go, it becomes very addictive, like I think Mohammed said that he just uses it when he's at work, and he's the CEO of his company. Really? So, just a good phrase. I mean, speaking of what, you use some other words, you use them there, a bit of zing. What's going on in your head when you're sort of using and... I don't know. It's just, and then the whistles come out. The whistles, you like to whistle. Yeah. Is there any origin, or is that just your personality? I must say, I can kind of claim that one. Really? Yeah, I can claim it. It's just like people might be saying, and if they're talking a little bit too much, maybe about the same thing, and you just like butt in and go, just really. That's enough. And then that's enough, and then they seem to get it after a while. So. I guess it's a softer way of it's a polite way using an offensive word. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and that's a good way to put it as well. Seems to work quite well. All right. Yeah, mate. Not long after you were here,
I mean, the easiest way to say this is you started dating one of your clients.
Yeah, well, I did actually. She wasn't a PT though, so
no, she was one of
does
the
that still count?
50%.
Yeah, 50%, yeah.
So it was actually one of Holly's friends.
Yeah.
We Holly was trying to help her get into fitness, and mate, she's become your wife, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Talk us through that a little bit, and I've definitely need to give our wives some airtime. So let's
exactly. Yeah, I guess when she first came into the gym, she came to a lunchtime class, which was quite a common one for the crew.
That's right.
Crew to come and do, because it was on at 12 o'clock and it was twice a week.
Yeah.
And then I think I was doing yokes that day.
Right.
And I guess I'm sure my top was off at the time.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
We had Evolve on that nice little,
Yeah.
And I just remember she didn't say hi to me at all. I think she looked at me and looked away. And I remember Nick Jones saying,
Nick Jones, stay look and look away.
And then so I went up to her and she looked quite terrified of like, what sort of training am I going to be doing?
Yeah,
So I was like, no. So I went up and just introduced myself.
You taught her first class, didn't you?
I actually didn't, mate.
Right.
No, I didn't. It was someone else.
Right. Okay.
And I remember she was back like a week later.
Right.
I think because she was sore for that long, she hadn't come back for that. And then after a couple of times, she did my class, and I was very professional about the whole thing. Just showed her how to do the movements and stuff like that.
How to do the movements.
Yeah, exactly. And then, it wasn't until like a few months after meeting her that we got together. So since
awesome.
then, it's been good.
And you guys got married just over 2 years now?
Yeah, so it's coming up to our anniversary on the,
Yeah, so
the 10th. The 10th,
Mate, that's I mean, I think it's super cool, and I guess that sort of stuff does happen, and
you could almost say that she's my she's kind of like my rock. Like she showed me a bit of the ropes around Dubai. She's been here she's been here 9 years now, I think.
Right.
So she knew where things were, and she helped me out. With a lot of stuff. So
it's cool. It's a very cool story, mate. Fast forward to sort of the present day and beyond.
Yeah.
What's the number one thing that motivates you and drives you to, we've been working together for 4 years, basically, and you rock up every day, you're motivated, you constantly want, the best for people, like you said, what really drives you, mate?
What really drives me, mate, is just the place I work at. It's just such a cool environment. Like, I've seen it. This is the third place I've been in.
We've had interesting times.
You've really, you've taken the brand to a really good level. And, you look into the future a little bit more about it. So just knowing that I'm coming to a place where I know things are just going to get better. The clientele that we've got here are awesome. The ones that have not the best attitudes, they just don't last. And but just everyone that works there, even Moonshine, with the
cameraman,
the girls upstairs here as well, they're really awesome. And I just love it here. I wouldn't want to work anywhere else.
One of your almost specialities, mate, is to be able to on a one-to-one level. You've got an incredible knack of really being able to take someone who can't function, their body, they don't know. I mean, you can say lift your hand up and they can do that, but send your hips back, they're unable to do that. You almost take these people as projects. I've seen, we've seen it over and over, and we've spoken about it a lot. You manage to completely transform them within a 6 month or a 3 month, or some of them even a 2 year period. What to move properly and understand where the hips are?
All that.
How do you do that? Like, what's that motivation? Because I think sometimes, and I've seen it on your face, the progress is painfully slow.
So
how do you deal with that? What's that? How do you stay motivated in those situations?
I think that goes back to the gym I worked at. I had a number of clients that would come through and just, they've seen. I guess I've had a bit more experience there. I haven't just worked at a CrossFit gym.
Right.
My whole life. I've had 60, even sometimes 70-year-olds come in, and they've been to lots of physios. I'm not saying physios or chiropractors bad, because they're really awesome, but they've tried to get as much help as they can. They've seen this trainer, that trainer, and just I just take them through some real natural movements. Just take a lot of load off, and just give them, just try and give them the right advice. And when you start to see them, like you say, move a lot better, and then when they start saying, "Oh, my back pain's gone," I don't have shoulder pain. I wish I had seen you years ago. Then that, I guess I've been told I do have a lot of patience.
Yeah.
You know, some people out there just wouldn't have the patience for it and just be like, no, this isn't for you. So, I mean, if you look at some like guys like Salty, he's done really well.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, mate, you've got a portfolio of some absolutely incredible stories. But like I say, some of your stories have taken a long time.
Yeah.
You know, even to get people to mechanically move.
Yeah, exactly,
simply.
Mate. And then being able to just jump into a class after a while.
Yeah.
You know, like I look at my clientele, and a lot of them do classes too. You know, like they might not start there, but I really encourage them because one-on-ones are good, but classes.
Mate, it almost sounds like I don't know if you could say it's a dream job, but it almost is for you. But on the flip side of that, what would your worst job in the world be?
Worst job in the world?
If there was one job that you just really didn't want to do, what would it be? Because we should see what your passion is, so let's look on the other side of it.
I don't think it's very easy to say like an office job now, but I think things have changed. Like I wouldn't mind doing that every now and then.
Right.
But,
mate, there's a spare desk over there.
Yeah, desk relaxing there. I could probably. Yes. I think, to be honest, it's what I first wanted to do. Perhaps getting into a type of trade. Yeah. Now, like being a plumber.
You just
being I just couldn't deal with that sort of stuff. You know, so I think that's the main one.
That would be the main one, mate. We're almost out of time. Obviously, want to appreciate your openness and just a lot of motivation there. I think for a lot of people. Before we go, mate, what's your one piece of advice? If I said you can just give people one piece of advice for life, what would that one piece of advice be?
Well, I guess sometimes you're going through some stages in life and it might feel like it's just hell. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like it's, you know, you're trying everything you can. You've tried this, nothing's working, but you've just got to, I think it's just a case of you've just got to just keep going. Just keep going. And just surround yourself with people who are on a mission and who are on the same mission as you. Yeah. You know, they're just, you know, willing to back you. And you're willing to back them up as well. Awesome. So I think that helps. I think that definitely reflects in your story. Cool. This is Matt Jones. Thanks,
Matt
guys.
Jones, thanks for being the first one. Who do you want to nominate? Who do you want to hear their story? Wow. Doesn't have to be a member of staff. Doesn't have to be anyone. Just you pick someone. I'll get them. We'll put them on that chair. I think I know who you're going to say. Yeah, I think you do. I think so. I've got someone. Who is it? Bozface. You want Boz on the chair? I like Bozface. Really? Yeah. It's either here or she has to do the next Inner Talks. Like, really? Maybe if you do the both. Shit, yeah. Maybe she should do both. Yeah. Maybe she. Who did you think I was going to? I thought you'd want Neil Bryant's on the chair. The Bryfest. Yeah, one of our oldest clients. Yeah, get him up there. He'll definitely have his shirt tucked in. He'll be. We might have to get him. Well, mate, you've nominated. We'll get Boz on the chair. This will be Carmen Bosman's. But for now, this is Matt Jones. Thank you very much, guys. Mate. Cheers.